To navigate transition well, we have to learn how to take back vision. All of us are looking for that promised land we were created for, or have that deep innate desire to live into the purposes we were created for. If you go back to the Garden of Eden, that's what they had. They were in their promised land. They were in the fullness of their purpose. It was so clear: be fruitful and multiply, take dominion over the earth. Basically, take ground and who I've made you to be, multiply into the earth and spread my kingdom. But when they ate from that tree of knowledge of good and evil, more happened than just disobedience and sin. Those are the parts we usually focus on, but we don't always look at what they lost in the process. Because here they were with this clear purpose: take dominion over the earth, be fruitful and multiply. It's straightforward to go. But then, the moment they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, their perspective changed, their vision changed, and suddenly, where before they had been naked and free and none the wiser for it, walking with God in their promises, but the moment their vision changed, they saw differently. They saw God differently, they saw themselves differently, and they saw one another differently. And all of a sudden they had this nakedness, this insecurity they were trying to cover up, a lack of answers they were trying to answer for. So now their purpose became divided. No longer could they just walk forward in their purpose and take dominion over the earth, be fruitful, multiply. Now half of their purpose was to gather fig leaves and protect self, to have answers for their insecurities. So when we take vision back, we can let go of that double-minded purpose of trying to protect self and walk forward at the same time, because they don't work. God wants us to play offense, to go forward. He'll play defense on our behalf. That's what Joshua and Caleb brought back to life. Because after the Israelites had toiled in the wilderness for years, here you have Joshua and Caleb with 10 other spies who are going to scout out the promised land. It's finally time. They're there. It's time to cross over into the new land. But how? So they go and they look, and they all saw two things. They all saw promises, fruitfulness, possibilities, an exceedingly good land flowing with milk and honey. But they also all saw giants and challenges that were around them. So what was the difference then between the 10 spies and Joshua and Caleb? It was that Joshua and Caleb saw singularly. See, they didn't see any differently than the other 10 spies. Both of them saw the same thing. Both, the 10 and the 2, they saw the giants and the difficulties, and they saw the possibilities. But the 10 tried to weigh the possibilities against the challenges. And those two things war in our lives. It's a war of perspective. A battle that we have to win in our minds and in our vision of taking it back, of not needing to protect self and our nakedness and insecurities and those things, but letting go and trusting those things to God again, being who He's created us to be in order to take dominion over the earth, be fruitful and multiply in that promised land as we were created to. So Joshua and Caleb, they let go of that. They realized, just like it says in Numbers 14, God wanted to give them that land, not only bring them into it, but give it to them. And it was in a great land, and the giants, the challenges would actually become their bread. It would be what they fed off of. The challenges you face, they can either be an obstruction or they can be fuel, because that can be part of how God intervenes when we are just willing to trust Him in the face of difficult challenges. When they crossed over, the answers didn't come first. They had to step into the Jordan before it was parted. It was a final test of taking vision back up. Are you looking at the waters? Are you looking at where you're going and where God has put your eyes? Where has God put your eyes? If you're in transition, if you're in a wilderness, if you're in the unknown, you might not see anything with clarity except for Him. And just say, God, where do you want to put my eyes? Where's my promises? Where's my purposes? Everything out here might not add up to that, but that doesn't matter. You just stay single-minded with Him, your mind bound to His, because the ultimate battle wasn't against the giants of the land. The ultimate battle was in the perspective of their own minds.